If you're dealing with hot flashes, joint pain, or just feeling off, the research is clear. Ultra processed foods are making it worse. We covered that in the last video. But removing the bad is only half the battle. Today, we're talking about what to add in, the exact nutrients your changing body needs to stop just surviving and start thriving. I'm Melissa, and this is the Midlife Shift. Today, we're going to look at how to nourish your body through the hormonal shifts of menopause. So let's dive in. Women's bodies continue to be hormonally complex, even at 50, 60, and beyond. What changes is which hormones are driving the show. So, estrogen has supported your bones, your muscles, your blood vessels, your brain. So as estrogen begins to decline through perimenopause and menopause, the body has to adapt. These systems need additional nutritional support. This is where nutrition becomes especially important. So let's start with protein. Many women in midlife are not getting enough protein. And as estrogen declines, maintaining muscle becomes harder. And muscle is not just about looking toned. It helps us to stay strong, to maintain balance, to burn energy efficiently, and support our bone health. Now, research suggests we need roughly between zero 0.6 and zero 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. During major hormonal transitions like menopause, we want to consider the higher end of that range. Now, we want to focus on high quality protein sources, okay, like eggs, beef, chicken, and fish. Animal proteins provide complete amino acids, and creatine comes along with it. This is another component increasingly being studied for women's health. Now, we don't want to think about protein in isolation. We want to pair protein with nutrient-dense fats, butter, cream, bone broth, or meat stock, and keeping the skin on the meats. These foods naturally contain fat-soluble vitamins and other nutrients. So think whole food protein sources rather than isolated, ultra lean, strictly muscle meat. So this naturally brings us to fats, and our hormones need fats. For years, we've been told to avoid fat, particularly saturated fats. So the question now is, what kinds of fats are you eating? Good whole food nutrient dense fats can slow digestion, which helps support steadier blood sugar, and it helps the body absorb the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Our ovaries and our hypothalamus also need fat. These are important centers of hormonal signaling, and inflammation can affect these systems. Ultra processed seed oils are very high in omega-6 fatty acids, and that contributes to inflammation. So we want to be thoughtful about the kinds of fats that we are consuming. Remember, we want to focus on the whole food, traditional types of fat, like butter, tallow, lard, olive oil. I would say whole avocados, not avocado oil, and coconut oil. So don't simply ask, should I eat fat? Because, yeah, our bodies need fat. Ask which fats work well for me and fit into a whole food diet. Now, let's take a look at carbs. So, carbs can be rather demonized these days, but let's think about this. In scripture, we see that God gave us all the fruits and the vegetables that, hey, they come with carbs. Now, there is not one ideal carbohydrate intake for every woman. This is where bio-individuality matters. And it also matters, like I just mentioned in scripture, the foods that God gave us. We want to choose whole food carbohydrate sources, not the stuff coming in ultra processed foods. Okay, think about fruit, sweet potatoes, squash. These provide more than just glucose. They come with fiber, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. Fiber supports our gut microbiome, including a new aspect of our microbiome that science is learning about called the estrobolome. This is gut bacteria specifically involved in estrogen metabolism. That sounds pretty important. But some women may feel better with more whole food carbohydrates, especially if they are more lean or dealing with something like low thyroid function. Other women may feel better with fewer carbohydrates, particularly with insulin resistance or if you're managing excess weight. So the goal is to find your threshold. You want enough to support energy and your good gut health without creating blood sugar problems. So let's bring it all together. We are not trying to follow somebody else's perfect diet. We want to pay attention to what your body is telling you and build meals around real whole foods that you enjoy and that work well for you. Here's some examples. Have a steak or some chicken with vegetables and butter. Have some eggs cooked in tallow, coconut oil, or butter. Have some salmon with an avocado. And then you can have some bone broth or meat stock. And I've talked in other videos about the difference between those. Both have their benefit. Take some bone broth or some meat stock and make a soup with root vegetables. This is what nourishment looks like. Then the goal, as we always say, is not perfection. The goal is supporting your body so that you can thrive. Thoughtful nourishment can be part of honoring the way that we are made, not through rigid rules and not through perfection, through paying attention and making intentional choices about what we put into the bodies God gave us. In last week's video, we looked at what to pull out, reducing where we have control the toxins that we are putting into our bodies. So this week, we looked at what to put in through the good whole foods nutritions that God made for us. So pick one thing where you can make an improvement in your nutrition this week. Maybe add more protein at breakfast. Swap a highly processed cooking fat for a whole food fat. Consider adding nutrient-dense foods such as liver on occasion. I will continue to have more practical guidance on how to incorporate these foods in future videos. It's just one decision, one meal at a time. That's how you nourish your way to thriving. So stay tuned for next week when we will take a look at hormone replacement therapy. We'll consider the research, the risks, and any potential benefits. Subscribe so that you don't miss that. Until then, keep doing your best and then trust God with the rest. And I will see you in the next video.